BLM. Just wanted to let you guys know that we actually don't permit overnight camping here. I know it's not super well posted, but...
Yeah, it's not posted at all near as I can tell.
Yeah. Well, I know, just wanted to let you know that, just because usually this is a pretty high use area.
Yeah, we've seen a few people in and out of here.
Yeah, I think with the hot temperatures, it's might be a little bit less, but regardless, it's my job. I just have to let people know.
Yeah, well, if you don't want people to camp here, you guys are gonna have to put some signs. So, with the way it works under the federal statutes, the concerns with BLM and Forest Service constitutionally notwithstanding, in that there's no, the public lands they really shouldn't be managing, but according to your own CFRs and stuff, the regulations say camping in a restricted area and is so marked. And so, I get that some areas are high use and they, but although honestly, we've camped here numerous times over the years, it's never been an issue. So I don't know why they would really feel a need to restrict this one. It's kind of high use, but it's not, this isn't like super heavy use. So, people popping in and out of here for a couple days. It's been happening for years, and I don't really see an issue, but there's definitely, the way the federal statutes work, there has to be a sign. You can't expect us to know. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to sit here and...
No, I'm not debating. I'm telling you, if you don't want us to camp here, you got to have a sign posted. That's the way the law works.
Right.
This is the people's land. And, I understand, I don't know really what your concern is with people camping here, but unless there's a sign here, we're going to camp here as long as it's within the reasonable boundaries. Although we're probably going to be getting out of here pretty soon because we got some other places to be. But it's our land, it's the people's land to use. So,
and it's my job to be here and just help to facilitate management.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I'm gonna help. I'm just trying to help you understand that first of all, the BLM needs to get off the people's land. The federal government has no lawful authority, and I don't know. You probably may not even know that with all the things. A lot of people are starting to realize this in the country that the Bureau of Land Management isn't a constitutional agency under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. I don't know if you've read the Constitution, or if you have an oath of the Constitution, or if you're a volunteer, or what you do out here.
I'm a federal employee. I'm a river patrol ranger, actually. But
gotcha. Okay, cool.
I come out here and do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Do you understand the concerns with the BLM and the Forest Service and stuff?
It's just my job, and I'm not gonna sit here and. Well,
just
the concerns or the opinions of how it is.
Well, your job is to follow the law, actually, and so the issue that you face. Look, you're young, and it's your job. You're out doing your job, but you got to remember, all through history, lots of people have done their job, but it was the wrong thing. So I would just encourage you to look into the constitutional aspects of the BLM. But here's the thing. We are going to use our land. It's not the BLM's land. It's the people's land. Mm-hmm. The BLM does not have a say over me or my family. The BLM is not a lawful agency, and they won't be treated as a lawful agency. That said, while we work through that, I try to work with the rules and regulations that the BLM, Forest Service and stuff makes up, even though they have no lawful authority, just because I don't want to fight every battle. Let me ask you this: since when is there no camping at this area? Did you just decide that today, or? No,
I didn't decide that. It's not like I just pulled my truck over and decided to. I'm just going to go knock on your door. Trust me, I've got a whole bunch of other things that I'd like to be doing right now.
When we pulled in the other day, I think it was a BLM guy pulled in, drove around.
Well, that might have been a sheriff. I don't know, but
I don't know.
But there's no sign. The thing is, why would you even come and tell people not to camp when there's no posted signage?
Look, I'm just doing what my supervisor tells me.
Who's your supervisor?
Jeff Horn.
He told you.
You can call the Motherlode Field office.
Did he tell you to come out here this morning?
I come out here every Monday.
Oh, he didn't specifically address us camping then.
No, I'm out here to clean up some bathrooms, go down, do some trail maintenance. I'm not here to, debate what the BLM, what the Forest Service does.
Well, I'm not here to make your life miserable. I'm using the opportunity to raise some issues with you so that you're aware of them, and also just to remind the BLM that, and the other issues notwithstanding, you guys, we've had this a couple times in the past week in California. Honestly, California is the only place in the country that I've had to deal with this. If a sign is not there, guys, it's not no camping. You have to post a sign. It's very simple. We don't read minds. And if it's public property, open access is assumed. That's the fundamental.
Okay, and I will
public,
will voice that concern.
Public common area, I guess you could call it.
Because we try to make signage, when and where appropriate. And I understand your concern.
Sure. Is it written somewhere that there's no camping here? I mean, how would you even know that?
It's just part of our land management plan. I mean, I would know that, and I get that because there isn't great.
You see
signage.
The concern?
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
So
there are a lot of things that could be improved, and I could agree with you on that.
Well, and I don't think it should be posted. I don't know how often people camp here, but we've been here once or twice in a couple years. And so, I mean, at that point, there's generally, to restrict something, you need a high enough level use that you can actually get somebody out there to do a report and say, no, this is too much use. I mean, the public common is land that's common to the people, and land that's common to the people can use. And so I'm not even sure what the concern is. But in any case, I know you came to let me know there's no camping, and I'm letting you know there is camping because it's our land. And if you guys want to address that, if we come here next time and there's signage, maybe we won't, just because I don't necessarily want to hassle with it. But honestly, just on a reasonable note, I don't think it's necessary here. I've seen a lot of heavy use land, and I really don't see why you got to worry about somebody coming in here and can't park in here at night with their family now and then.
Okay, well, feel free to, like I said, you can give our office a call.
No, that's not necessary, but he can give me a call if he has any concerns or if he wants to know my reasons or anything like that. And if next time we come, there's a sign, we'll deal with that as it comes. But I will say, just on a personal level, there's people are having very little tolerance for the BLM anymore. I used to think of the BLM as a benign agency. When your rangers started showing up and beating up women at the Bundy Ranch, murdering people on the side of the road along with the FBI. I mean, now you guys are actually lumped in with terrorist organizations. And I know you're just a guy out here. I'm not trying to say that that's what you're doing out here. It's just that the BLM is a huge, overreaching federal agency that's a militarized agency. Do you guys locally, do you have police and militarization going on?
No, we have 3 law enforcement from all the way from Nevada City.
Okay, so this is pretty rural, and I get that. I mean, I've talked to BLM guys before that, are just normal everyday guys. But I mean, I don't know if you saw what went down at the Bundy Ranch, but they basically had like tactical SWAT contractors out there harassing people at the Bundy Ranch. And then you had the stuff that went on in Oregon. And so, you on an individual level, you're going to have to decide kind of what side you want to be on. Are you going to be on the side of America and the Constitution, or on the side of people trying to commit treason against America, and you overtake the rule of law in this country? And so of all the agencies, I can tell you that, while I certainly have nothing against you, because I love my neighbor as myself, I want you guys to understand this, and the BLM is not going to continue to be tolerated. And it can't be. It's a lawless organization, and it has to be treated as such. And so I can tell you right now that the BLM's word out here has absolutely zero authority to me on our public common lands. And I'll decide on an individual level how I want to deal with something, but you can tell your field office that we, the people of America, are tired of the BLM, and I have nothing against you personally, other than I hope that you can realize that the BLM is the bad guys and not helping our public lands, Okay. Because I know you're not hostile, you're not being like me. I'm not trying to be that way with you. I'm just saying, no BLM. Ditch the BLM. This is our land. It's not the federal government's, and you have no ownership of this land out here.
Okay.
And that's the law.
I think I did my part. I think
we both did our part.
I think you said that, what you needed to say, and
yeah.
I'm gonna
Well, and I would just encourage you to look up. I'm not making this stuff up. This stuff is the law of the land.
And
so if you have any feelings on it,
I have 2 ears, and I can hear you pretty clearly from 3 feet away.
Right, but have you studied this stuff? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not just like throwing this stuff out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I have a degree in political science.
But if
I've grown up in this area, and I'm aware of what BLM does in this area.
Sure, and I understand that everywhere BLM doesn't abuse
to other
people.
Places such as what's happened out in southern Nevada with the Bundy Ranch and what's going on at the preserve in Oregon. I'm not here to, I hear what you're saying, and I obviously have made a decision as a conscious citizen to work for the BLM, and that's.
But why? Why do you want to work for them? Why do you want to work for them?
Sir, I'm not going to continue this conversation with you, especially if you're going to.
Well, I have to film. You're a public official. If you were a private, I wouldn't be doing this. But you are. I mean, I understand the idea that BLM isn't out here like super harassing people, but they are a federal organization. It's not like you work for a state organization. You have to choose when you support the beast, right? You support the beast. I mean, this is historical stuff. We study history, and if you, I don't know, maybe you've studied political science, but how much have you studied the Constitution?
Sir, I'm gonna let you be, and you guys,
I do appreciate that you're not out here.
You take off when you need to.
I do appreciate that you're not all tactical and trying to be tough cop. I mean, I do appreciate
that.
That's
because, I'm just.
And I get this is rural.
I'm just out here to manage the land.
I know, but and I'm just saying, let's have the communities and the states manage the people's lands. And so that we don't have a huge bureaucracy. I'm sure locally, you guys, your thing is probably not to be out here making trouble for people. I mean, you don't strike me that way. I'm not saying that. It's just that it's still the same agency. And so what happens when the day comes when they say, start harassing people? Here's a bulletproof vest. Here's a machine gun. What happens when that day comes? Because it's coming in some communities. So. Okay. I mean, as an individual, I don't know if you have a family. I mean, in terms of your children's liberty and their freedom. Do you think about those things? I hope you will. What's your name?
My name is Byron Sailors.
Byron. Well, hey, you have a good day.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
I'm Gavin.
Gavin? What's your last name?
Gavin Seim.
Gavin Seim.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find me on the internet trying to raise these issues. But I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be mean to you.
Do you have a card or anything? You said that you're okay with providing your contact information. So if BLM wanted to,
sure, yeah, they can get a hold of me if they know who I am. I can tell you that. But yeah. So all right, well, Byron, you take care. All right. So here's the deal. Same deal as the forest agent the other day, right? I understand that Byron, didn't come down here. I mean, he's not even all tactical like the forest guys were, right? He didn't come down here to say, I want to make Gavin's life miserable, right? But here's this idea. The government is such a heavy hand. Like, this is the second time in a short period of time that government agents have come to me in California, and I've actually never had this happen anywhere else. Oh, you can't camp here. Well, there's no signs. Yeah, we know. We should work on that, but you can't camp here. Listen. The common land is common to the people. It's property that is not taken out of nature. It's not in someone else's hands. It's common to the people. And if we've set aside land to be common to the people to use for beneficial use for recreation, etc., common land, the public land, whatever you want to call it, it will be used. Now, I've talked about this before. I pick my battle. Sometimes I'll go into a place, even if it's the Forest Service or the BLM, right? I may not violate the rules that day, depending on what I have to do. Their rules have no authority in law. The CFRs have no authority in law. They're not law. They're rules that were arbitrarily made up by the federal government agencies that have no right to exist in the first place, least of all to make law, because that's to be left for the legislative, who has no authority to delegate their authority to another agency. So literally everything that they talk about out here, the federal agencies, the BLM, the Forest Service, it's all strictly illegal. Not only are they not allowed to own land within the states like this, they were allowed to originally disperse land when territories became states and things like that. There's some conditions in there for that. But this idea of federal government owning and managing land within the states is completely outside both the intent and the letter of the law of this land. And so first of all, it's not that I'm being mean to this guy. It's that, dude, you're out here working for an agency that has no right to exist in the Constitution, first of all. Then they have no right to have this land. And not only that,
you're talking about a rule that doesn't actually exist. It's not even in writing anywhere, and there's no sign. See, we've got to start calling people out on the ridiculousness of this. I mean, this guy's a mild young man, right? He seems nice enough, but come on, people are so brainwashed, friends. Byron, we've got to start standing up for a standard for the rule of law. No one else, none of us serfs out here get to make it up as we go. Hold the government accountable. The bottom line here is we have to stand up for the rule of law. And yes, we have to stand up to the everyday enforcer or officer on the street. If they're part of violating the law, then we need to stand up. And we need to say, hey, stop it. Again, Byron probably thinks, oh, Gavin's hostile and aggressive and mean, and he's going to go back and tell his bosses, this guy was giving me trouble, and they're going to say, oh, he's one of those constitutional idiots, because they either don't care about the law or don't know it either. Byron says he's a political science major. Well, guy, I would get your money back if I were you, because if they didn't even teach you the basics of the Constitution and law, we need to get back to real law and quit pretending that this fluff and these studies and all this stuff that we sell as knowledge and wisdom is actually knowledge and wisdom. We're peddling foolishness as truth. We need to get back to law and liberty and loving our neighbor as ourself in truth. Take back this liberty so our children can be free.